Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the 3 reasons why I choose to teach my children about other religions outside of our own religion. So if you're new here, we are a family of 5. I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an almost 2-year-old. We are currently homeschooling this year. A little background knowledge, we come from a Lutheran faith, so a form of Christianity, specifically the ELCA denomination. So let's get that out of the way real quick here, but this is a video mainly in response to a video I made a while back talking about why, as a Christian, I choose secular curriculum for my homeschool. And I have to say, I got a lot of great comments on that video of people of different faith backgrounds talking about their experience, but I also received a lot of negative, frankly mean comments from, you guessed it, those calling themselves Christians. How is it possible as a Christian if I could teach my other children about other beliefs and practices? So this video is to explain that, because frankly I'm sick of putting in the comments of that video the reasons why I choose to teach my children about other religions outside our own. And I'm going to start this off by saying, this is my point of view. These are my children. I'm explaining how I am doing things. This is not a personal attack on a certain religious group. So if you can't maintain, I'm completely open to discussing things in the comments, but if you're just here to attack me and tell me I'm a horrible person, I don't have time for that, frankly. And if you're so offended by this video or the videos I make, you have the ability to click off. So this is your warning. If you're easily offended by those things, just click off. Stop wasting your time and my time going into a rant in the comments. So to get that out of the way, first of all, so the 3 main reasons I teach my children about other religions other than the faith we practice at home. Number 1, I think historically, religion plays a big role in many things. I think in order for you to get an accurate viewpoint of history, you need to be able to understand other religious beliefs as well. So for example, in history right now, we are studying the First Crusade. Religion is a big part of that. I mean, there's politics and different things that also involved in it, of course, because there's always politics involved in it. But specifically, religion is heavily involved in this with Christianity, Judaism, and the Islamic faith. So to accurately understand the context of what is going on during this time, you need to be able to understand each different viewpoint of those different groups of people. So for example, the big fight, the First Crusade, was about Jerusalem, right? Because Jerusalem is important to Jewish people, to Christian people, to the Islamic people, Muslims. So those things are all important. They are all holy to each of those groups. But unless you know why that is holy to each of those groups, you don't really understand the perspective of what's going on. If you only present, for example, the Christian view, this is why I prefer to choose secular curriculum. If you only provide a Christian view, it's going to be skewed and give you not exactly an accurate portrayal of what happened during that time. So for example, Pope Urban II, using his influence as Pope to pretty much kick off the Crusades with a hate crime against Muslims and how Christians need to rally around to take back Jerusalem. Being able to understand the different nuances, the context, the different things going on, and not looking at it in a lens that this is the only right way to view it. Because obviously if you take it from a religious perspective, it's going to be skewed towards that. History is always written by the winners, right? So when we talk about different historical events that were influenced by things happening within different religions or the spreading of certain religious beliefs, I want my children to be able to understand why. And from a point of view that doesn't say one is right over the other, but just to give you the historical context of what is going on. Number 2, I want to teach my children about other cultures. Culture and religion are very intertwined. A lot of culture cultural identity is tied into your religious identity as well. There's a lot of religion practices, for example, Judaism, that your daily life, the way you practice, is intertwined with who you are. So to separate those, you aren't fully getting an idea of what that culture is like. And I think if you deny your children the ability to learn about different cultures, you're creating biases and prejudice. So my children learn about these different cultures, but in order to learn about the fullness of these cultures, you have to also be able to embrace what they believe. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not telling my children they need to believe every single one of these religious beliefs. That's not for me to tell them what to believe. But they need to understand that there are different people with different points of view and be able to see things from outside their own point of view. So we learn about many different cultures in this house, which includes their religious identity. Number 3, the third reason I teach my children about other religious beliefs is I want to raise globally literate children. What does that mean? I want to raise children that see that the world is full of diversity and different people. I want them to see that there is beauty, but also difficulty in that. There's a lot of people out there that don't always agree with you, and I don't think this is a debate with what is right or wrong, but just having the capacity to see another person's point of view instead of focusing always on proving your own self right. My children are naturally growing up with some bias. And how is that so? So we live in an area that is predominantly white. We also live in an area that is predominantly Christian. Granted, there's many denominations of Christianity, so it's not just Lutherans they're exposed to. Within our own church, we do work with different Christian denominations, VBS, different things like that. So they're exposed to different Christian groups within our own Lutheran tradition. But they aren't exposed to anything else. We don't have a temple here, we don't have a mosque, we don't have a synagogue, we don't have any other exposure to, frankly, other cultures, diversity, or religions. And it's very easy to see that and grow up with that and think that's all there is. Or if you encounter something different from that, to think it's wrong. And it's very important that my children understand that just because something is different doesn't mean it's wrong. You know, I want my children to be able to understand that you are fully capable of having your own personal beliefs, but respecting and accepting that other people might feel differently or believe differently than you. That does not take away from your own personal beliefs. I think when you come from an environment where you're only given one point of view, or if your physical environment only allows for one type of view, it's very easy to become ignorant to the rest of the world. And I think from ignorance stem things like prejudice and bias, and from those things can easily stem hatred. Hatred from other groups that you perceive as different from you. So raising globally literate children means you're raising children that see the different perspectives of other people, that it's not a right or wrong debate, that we were all different, but and celebrate those differences. But I also want my children to be able to stand up for those people who are marginalized, treated unfairly, not just because of their religious beliefs, but also because of their cultural beliefs, the color of their skin. All these things are important to raise compassionate, kind children. And they're not going to be able to understand other people's viewpoints if they're not given the opportunity to see things through other people's eyes. So that is the 3 main reasons that I, as a Christian, Lutheran, ELCA, teach my children about other religions. Thank you for watching.